Swagweg, So hello everyone, I'm Yegonsi. Today I'm going to do the parent class on Gahwajile Nigawanoda. So family or kinship types of words is going to be our topic for this parent class video. So I'm just going to do like an abbreviated version. There are so many words to talk about different family members. There's many ways to change each one. So I just want to go through some basics to give you kind of a foundation for this type of vocabulary. Family words. Gahwajile ni gawanoda se. So we'll get started. So kind of some of our basic ones: mom, dad, grandma, children, brothers and sisters, cousins. Those are kind of going to be our words for today. So we may in the future have a follow-up, like part 2 family video, or a parent class video on family words. But today we're just going to go over some basics so that you have a great starting point to talk about gahwaji. So gahwajile is just a noun. It means family. You can change this word a lot of ways. You can say akwaji or zahwaji. Akwaji is my family. All I did was take this pronoun ga. You're learning about C-stem pronouns. So in the C-stem subjective, the pronoun for it is ga. So I know that this is a C-stem noun because it starts with a ga. C-stem nouns can also start with an O. So it just depends on the noun, but I know that this is C-stem, so I can change it any way I want using a possessive pronoun, or for these types of words, you can use people-to-people pronouns. So I'll just go over that just a little bit briefly, not everything, but just so that you can at least recognize, like, oh, okay, ugh is like me to her, or whatever the people-to-people pronoun is. So the pronoun in Gahwaji family is ga. I could say akwaji, my family. Zahwaji is your family. Lahwaji is his family. Agohwaji is her family. So I don't have it written on the board. It's just the main word here that I want you to know, gahwaji, but just know there's lots of other ways it can change. So our first word here is agno, agnoha. That is the word for my mom. You can change this a lot of ways too. The people-to-people pronoun is her to me, and sometimes it changes a little bit. If it has a Y, it'll drop off. It's usually yug or some variation of that word. But in this case, because it's the beginning, it's ug, so it's my mom, her to me. You can change that a lot of ways too, because you could say zanoha, zanoha is your mom, or whatever ways, her mom, his mom, things like that. So, but this is the main one. Agnoha is my mom. There's also greeting forms for most of these family type kinship terms. Na is the greeting form of agnoha. So I would say this is maybe more of a formal way to use the word agnoha. And na is like in English, if you say like mother, hello mother, but you might more say something abbreviated or shortened, like mom or ma or mommy or mama or something like that. That's kind of what the na is. It's like a shortened version of agnoha. So agnoha is a little formal. This is more informal na, and we generally use this with greetings. So we'll say seguna. Seguna is like hi mom. That's what you would say. So agnoha also is a word you can definitely use too. Just know that if you see this, this is like the command kind of. It's the greeting form of agnoha. Lage niha is the full word. That's my dad. So lage is actually the pronoun. It means him to me. So lage niha is my dad. The greeting form, this one also has a greeting form or command form. It's lage. So you might hear people say that. Segu lage, hi dad. Lage niha is my dad. You can change this a lot of ways too. Lage is the people-to-people pronoun. So there is a difference between the pronouns you're learning in the C-stem that have subjective and objective sides. All those are singular pronouns or singular groups of pronouns doing an action. We also have what we call people-to-people pronouns in every single stem of Oneida, A, C, O, U, and so on. They are verbs or pronouns that share an action or between two groups of people. So I doing this to you, or you're doing this to me, that's all that people-to-people pronoun is. People-to-people pronouns also function on family types of words, like these kinship words as well. So, common example I always say with people-to-people pronouns is gunolunk. Gunolunkwa, I love you. The action is shared between me and you. Love. That is between us, so that's why the people-to-people pronoun gu, me to you, is being used. That's all that is. So it does help to have a frame of reference when we're talking about this stuff. We want to get you to have that acquisition in learning language. The acquisition means that you're understanding and knowing all parts of the word, you're acquiring the small bits, and you're growing your vocabulary with the root. So that will help you increase your proficiency, and it kind of gets us away from the memorization because we're not connected necessarily to memorizing a word. We might say, oh, lagay niha, that's my dad. Although there are some components of it, yes, in language learning, but when we understand all aspects of it, I know this is lagay, I know this is niha. When I hear that lagay in other words, I'm like, oh, that has to do with like him to me. And so my brain has more connections to the language and to the words, and it helps me learn them and remember them, and helps my brain to get used to a pattern in learning language. So that's the purpose. So sorry again for the tangent. If you know me and watch my videos, that happens. So, but it's helpful to have the frame of reference. Back to the words. So lagay niha, lagay. This is actually whispered, so it's underlined. And then the lagay is just the people-to-people pronoun. It means my dad. Lagay is the greeting form. Moving on to the next one, aksot. Aksota is the word for my grandma. Aksot is the greeting form. Aksot, like, sego aksot, aksot, yeah, like, look, grandma. Like, that's something kids might say. So, good word to know. Aksot, again, oh, we see this, uk, or ug. That is like her to me. That's what that's meaning. So, greeting form aksot. Same thing here. We see a pattern. I was just mentioning the pattern, so this is helpful. Lug is him to me. The root is sot. Also, if you've picked up, sot has to do with grandparents. So that's the root for grandparents. We change it accordingly depending on who we're talking about. So if we're talking about my grandma, it's uksot. If we're talking about my grandpa, it's luksot. The other thing you will learn in the past few STEM videos, I think we're up to the A, C, O, and the U, we're learning that L's reference males. So that's an important pattern because we even see that in the people-to-people pronouns. And a lot of times if you pay attention to like Indian names, men, if they have a verb-based name, they're going to start with an L generally. So keep that in mind. So lagay, this has to do with males, right? Luksot has to do with males, so we see the L. It's him to me. So back to grandpa. Luksot, my grandpa. Luksota is the full word. There's a whispered ending on there. My grandpa. Luksot is the greeting. Sego luksot. That would be how you would use that. The next one, it has to do with being a cousin. So yungyalaz. Yungyalaze is the full word for my cousin. Here is our pronoun. Yung, it is someone to me. That is the people-to-people pronoun. So the yalaz has to do with like being cousin, relations. Yung, I mentioned, was someone to me. So there is even patterns within our people-to-people pronouns. This is a little bit more, I guess, advanced language learning, but it's helpful because now, as you're learning the stems, you can start to draw initial patterns between our pronouns. So it's like in the C stem, the pronoun is you. In the subjective side, it's her or someone. And generally, we've said that in the subjective sides of any stem, K's reference me. So it's kind of like when we have people-to-people pronouns, we take two singular pronouns and we put them together. So this literally means someone to me. Like we took you and have K, that's our pronoun now. Yung, it means someone to me. So that's sometimes the pattern. It's not always, there's always exceptions, but it is helpful in recognizing those in the words, those patterns. Unguhoitne or Oneida is full of patterns, and it becomes easier on a learner to get your brain familiar with the patterns because the brain loves patterns. So when you can do that, you're going to pick up the language much easily, much faster, and you're going to have sustained learning because you're going to remember that later on down the road when your brain recognizes that, versus memorization. That's kind of the difference. So, Yungilaze, my cousin, the greeting form of that, which is probably what you've heard, a lot of people have heard that word gias or giaze is the full word. In a greeting form, we would say sego gias or sego giaze. That might be how you might use that. So that's kind of where the word comes from, yungilaz, gias. So just have an idea. It's kind of like when we talk about verbs and how commands are derived from verbs. It's kind of like this. These are greetings. They can be used in a greeting format. They're kind of like commands too-ish. That's kind of what that's like. The next set has to do with like children and siblings. So I just have a few of them up here. These are not everything. You can literally change these words like hundreds of ways to talk about like, oh, that's their cousin, or this is our cousin, or this is your cousin or his cousin. Like you can change that pronoun of many ways. So, but these are just some starting points. So Keyaha is my daughter. Keyaha, the full word. So we've learned about whispered endings. Sometimes I forget to underline them, so I'll just do it in the video. But that is the K-H-E right here. That is the people-to-people pronoun. That means me to her, or me to someone, depending on how it's being used. Keyaha, my daughter. Keyaha. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that patterns again. K's usually reference me. Ooh, it's me to her. That's what it's talking about. There are generally deeper translations to the words than what we actually kind of write sometimes. Like that's the assumed translation. It's like the modern English translation. But a lot of times you're going to see deeper meanings, older meanings, or older translations to these words. Because the roots, especially for family terms, they're really old. And I would say they're unique in a sense because sometimes they change how they want. They don't always follow the pattern, but that's okay. That's what Unguhoitne is. So, Keyaha, my daughter. Pay attention to the similarities between these two words now, shortly. The greeting form of Keya is Giya. So I always say that to my dog. I was like, Sego Giya. Like, or whatever you consider to be your child, you could say that too. I say this to the kids too. I'll say, oh, Sego Giya. Like, hi, my child, because that's an important concept in our culture, is all of the children in our community are like our own. So, you know, we treat them as if they are our own, and it is community is like extended kinship. We have extended families. They are all a part of us. We are all related and connected. So that's why I will say that and use that in that sense, Segokya, to the students. So it's extending love and kindness and creating connection and strong relationships between teachers and students. So that's one of the goals of the program, is to reinstill kinship values. So although I'm a teacher, I would say that it's a little different than like a mainstream school setting. You know, it's not very, you're the teacher, you're the student, these are the designated roles. I would say it's more like you're like an auntie, or you're like a relative. Although I am a teacher to the students, I consider myself in that sense. So I think that you can have more effectiveness when you reinstill our own cultural kinship values in an educational setting, like in an immersion program for students. Students are going to pick up more words, they're going to pick up more comprehension, they're going to demonstrate more speech when you consider them your family. So it seems like a simple thing, but that we should do. Sometimes we just get lost and we, you know, don't always do that. So that's one of the goals of the program, is to practice and reinstill kinship in the program. So what a great parent video to go through. So Gyan, Sego Gyan would be your greeting form. It's like, my child, that's all it means. But this is how you would say it, like shortened version, like in a quick way. Iyaha is my son, and then the same thing, the greeting form is also Gia. So it just means my child. Actually, I didn't write it up here, but I will write it right now. My child. That's all that means, essentially. So it does mean my son or daughter, but in greeting form, real quick form, it's like my child. We notice that, well, you could probably pick out the people pronoun right here. Generally, the pronoun for him to me is hi, he, or li, but usually if it's the first part, if there's like no prefix, like tense prefix before that pronoun, sometimes the L's drop off, so that's why we get e, the I. So iya, we noticed if we cover up both of these parts here, yaha, that has to do with children. That is the root here. So yaha. Yaha it's the infinitive root, so we don't use it by itself because it has to have pronouns. But start making those connections, build the pathways in your brain for language learning. So, but that's all that is. So, keya, iya, that has to do with my daughter, my son, has to do with children. The last part of this video that I'm going to go through is siblings. Same similarities, and I grouped them similarly so I want you to see or notice the roots on here. So kegaha is my younger sister. Igaha is my younger brother. So sorry, I forgot to underline the whispered endings, but you kind of are starting to get the gist of that. So same thing here. A lot of times K, K-H-E has to do with me to her. This case, my younger sister, me to her. That's where that's coming from. Same thing, li, he, or if it's in the front, the L will drop off and it'll be E, the I as the pronoun, me to him. So my younger brother, me to him. That's what that is. So the gaha still, again, has to do with siblings, younger siblings specifically, younger siblings. So kegahas, or igaha, my younger brother. So if you don't have younger siblings, then you probably wouldn't use this term. But if you do, then you have somewhat of an idea. Now you can change these. These are the pronouns. So I've been underlining the pronouns so you can see them because you're also learning about pronouns. So this is very helpful to know. Give you the context and the background information as to what these words really do and are, how they change. Where was I going with that? So kegaha, my younger sister. Igaha, my younger brother. Same root, different pronouns, because that pronoun is going to indicate it's the younger sibling. That's what the root is. But who the sibling is what is going to be indicated in your pronoun, your people-to-people pronoun. So me to her, oh, my younger sister. Iga, oh, my younger brother. That's the him. The next one, these have to do with older siblings. So again, we see the same root, jiha. So akjiha is my older sister, akji. So here's our prefix again. Or it's her to me, sorry, I think I said me to her. Because me to her is K, but akji is her to me. But that is still the same pronoun. So generally when you're talking about people that are older than you, the pronoun is going to function from them to you. So this person that's older than me, it's her to me. That's where the pronoun is coming from. Now if it's a younger sibling, it's me to her. I would say from my perspective that demonstrates like acknowledgement and respect of that position, that sibling or family position, that position within your family. So like, okay, like they always say like, okay, respect your elders, like that is where that concept is being derived from, and that is how it functions within the language, within literally our words. So like this older sibling I have, it's her to me, because I'm not possessing it, it's not me to her, it's her to me. I'm acknowledging her, I'm respecting her, and the position that she has within our family. And then the same thing vice versa, my younger sibling, so it's me to her, okay? So that is the dynamic. That is a deeper cultural framework or meaning that those people-to-people pronouns are derived from. So I know sometimes it can get a little like linguistic-y and stuff, so that's not really a word, but like it can get a little technical when we talk about these things, but there really is a cultural connection to those things, so that's our purpose. Because we do have like linguists in our community, and we've had linguists work in our community that are not from our community, so the extent of their work generally ends with the technical stuff. But the purpose of our work as community members is to now reinsert that cultural meaning, that cultural context back into the changes of those words. So that's kind of what I do, or what I try to help people do as they learn. So, okay, sorry, another tangent. Back to the words, the last two. So I said that Ukji and Lukji are older siblings. Ukji is her to me, my older sister. Lukji is my older brother. So him to me, Uk, her to me, Lug, him to me. We've seen that, Lugge, we've seen that in Luksot. Patterns all over. So that's a good way to say that. I don't know if there's anything else I want to mention here. Just be aware of the roots. The roots for older siblings is G. The roots for younger siblings is Ga, Gaha, okay? So Kega, my younger sister, Iga, my younger brother, Ukji, my older sister, Lukji, my older brother. So I'm going to go through all the words, and I just am going to say them, and I will have you repeat them, okay? So everyone, Gahwaji, family. Everyone, Agnoha, my mother. Everyone, Na, just like mom. Everyone, Lagetni. We'll do the full word, Lagetniha. Okay, that's my dad. The greeting form, everyone, Lage. The next one, Uksot. Full word, Uksota. And then the greeting form is just Uksot. Awesome. That's my grandma. We'll go to the next one, Luksot. Full word, Luksota. That's my grandpa. The greeting form, Luksot. Let's try my cousin, Yungyalaz. The full word, Yungyalaze. Awesome. The next one, Gias. The full word for the greeting form, Giaze. Awesome. Let's go to the next one. My daughter. Everyone, Kega. Or sorry, Kaya. My bad. Everyone, Kaya. The full word, Kayaha. My daughter. Let's try the shortened, abbreviated greeting form. Gia. Good. Iya. Full word, Iyaha. My son. And then Gia. My child, my son. That's essentially what it is. We'll go to my younger sister and my younger brother. Everyone, Kega. Kegaha. Awesome. My younger sister. The next one. Everyone, Iga. Igaha. Good. That's my younger brother. Let's see, the last two. Everyone, Ukji. Full word. Everyone, Ukjiha. Yep, my older sister. And then the last one is for my older brother. So Lukji. Full word, Lukjiha. Great. So that is Gahwajile ni Gawanodase. So those are family words. So hopefully these are very helpful. Hopefully the context in the background kind of explains some of these words. The last note I'll say is that, again, these words can change many, many ways. So you may see other variations or conjugations of these words, but these are just a simple list to help you start implementing some common words into your daily vocabulary. And as always, we just encourage everyone, especially all of our parents in the program, to use as much Oneida as they can at home. You know, sub out some words that you're learning from the parent videos into your daily routine. All usage of Oneida is good usage. So just take little steps, incorporate those words, especially the ones you're learning here. And, soon you're going to grow your vocabulary. Even if it's like one word a day, one word a week, it'll be more than nothing. Awesome. So I think that's about it. Toginik, nagiba.